This project is so fun to make and super whimsical and very easy. All you're going to need is one of these jar signs from the Dollar Tree, some buttons, a craft stick, and some scrapbook paper. We are going to add in a couple other little things just to spruce it up even more and to personalize it, but it's whatever you have in your craft supplies that you can use, but these are overall the basic supplies we're going to be using. And trace your jar onto a neutral cream scrapbook paper, and you can see here when I was adding adhesive to the back, I accidentally pulled and ripped the paper, but it's not a big deal. We're going to cover it up with some stuff. Go ahead, take the other colored paper. I decided for my lid, I wanted to make it look like his hat, so I'm going to go with a beautiful icy tealish blue color. I'm going to go ahead and trace it out, cut that on for the jar lid. And then for the hat, the rim of the hat, I took a craft stick, I cut off the rounded edges, and I'm going to glue that onto a really pretty pattern paper that has snowflakes all over it. And I'm going to cut that out, and then I'm going to glue that on. But before I glue it on, we're going to do some distressing because I really wanted to go for a very farmhouse country whimsical look for this project. And it really is just dependent on how distressed you want to make it or not. It's up to you. I always like to just give you the ideas and then have fun customizing it and making it your own. Now you can see here I'm coming in with some distressing. I like distressing around the edges, but not crazy in the middle. And by crazy, listen, if that's your jam, go for it. Have fun, distress it so it looks really old and rusty. Everybody has their own style for their home, and I never want to discourage people from doing what they feel is best for their projects. It's just about getting the idea and then have a jumping point to make something beautiful for your home. So you can see here I'm adding it heavier around the edges. I'm doing a little bit less around the middle, and I'm just dry brushing all over this to distress it, make it look like Frosty has been out there for a bit, Frosty the Snowman. And then once I've got the distressing to my liking, I didn't want to put too much in the middle. I wanted it more around the edges. I'm gonna now start to add on all of the fun features. I also noticed when I went to go put on this brim of his hat, I decided to paint the backside so it looked finished on the backside. You know me, I like to finish the backsides of my projects. So I'm gonna go ahead and glue down some Spanish moss. And then I'm going to glue on that brim of his hat, glue that all down into place, push down nice and firm because that moss is pushing it up just a little bit. And then we're going to add on some more details, which is just so fun. I'm going to bring in his eyes, and we're just going to be using 2 buttons that I found from one of the jars that I had at the Dollar Tree. I used larger buttons because I just loved the look of that, but you can use any size button. And I like that they looked like coal, but it was just even cuter that they're buttons. I love buttons here on my channel. I've said this a million times. I just glued those kind of close together and a little wonky because there's something playful about when you make one eye a little bit higher than the other one. And now I'm going to come in with another craft stick. I'm going to cut off a rounded edge and kind of cut down at an angle, but make it a little more rounded. This is going to become his carrot. I'm going to glue that onto a rustic looking orange paper, and then I'm going to cut that out. And as well, I'm going to distress that so it goes along with the rest of the look. But you can see on the back side where it's going to be hanging over the edge, I went ahead and painted that on the back side, added some distressing on the front side, and then I'm now going to glue that down into place right underneath his eyes. And I tilted it up. I like the idea of the brim of the hat going one direction and then the carrot going the opposite direction. I don't know, it's just how I like it, but you, again, do it how you want to do it. Now I've made him a little bit of a silly smile where it's a little wavy because again, we're going for a whimsical look. And I just decided rosy cheeks is the way to go. So I went ahead and did some dry brushing with a light dusty rose pink color, and now I'm going to add on my bows. I thought adding 2 different bows would really add in a lot of character to the snowman character we're making. I love these buttons. You can see that I layered some of them. I'm gluing them all over. The snowflakes are just the cutest thing to add to a snowman character. And now what we're going to do is add in some glitter because I can't help myself. You know, we could stop there or we could take it a little further. So I'm going to add on some hot glue where I want the glitter to be. I find that using hot glue with glitter like this on Christmas decor pieces really locks it in so much better. All right, we're gonna do this advent calendar for a major look for less. I loved the idea that I saw with these little stars that you can flip back and forth, and they actually have these wood cutouts at the Dollar Tree as well as twine. We're gonna use some clear push pins and then this bamboo board that they have in the Dollar Plus section. We are gonna take a ruler and we're going to use the centimeters versus inches because it works out better for spacing. And I'm going to hit at the 5, 10, 15, 20, and 25 measurements. Then I'm going to come in with my push pins and I'm going to gently hammer those into place. You don't want to be too rough because it could crack the top part of the push pin. I had that happen a couple times. If it does, you just lift it back up and take it out. Then I'm going to take the stars using my Crop-A-Dile and I'm going to punch holes in each one. I love my Crop-A-Dile tool. I talk about it all the time here on my channel. And then I'm going to take my twine and I'm going to fold it in half. Taking the part of the twine that is folded in half, I'm going to use a paintbrush to push that through the hole. I'm going to open that loop from the twine and then I'm going to pull through the ends. Now the reason why I like doing it this way is that if you just go through with the twine one strand through, the stars will constantly keep twisting and they'll never lay flat. So doing this loop is going to allow the stars to lay flat on the board without them twisting back and forth, and it looks really high end. So once I've got that looped through, tied in a knot, and the length that I need, I'm now going to write on all of the numbers with my Sharpie marker. I'm going to take some letters to, again, dupe the look, and I'm going to paint red letters and glue them into place. Again, these letters are also from the Dollar Tree. All of these supplies are. You will need 2 packs though because each pack only has 1 letter. Then on the back side, I'm going to take some of this red and white ticking stripe fabric. I'm going to staple it down and then pull over the existing length of the fabric to really clean up the look and give it that high-end style. And then on the other side, I'm going to take a bow with the same fabric, tie it, do a dovetail tip, and glue it into place. Now make sure you pull it so it's hanging right in the center, and after that, you're ready for Christmas. I adore these metal trees from the Dollar Tree. They're in their Dollar Plus section for $3, and this burlap upholstery ribbon I actually get on Amazon, so I'm going to link it down below. But you can use any burlap ribbon that they have at the Dollar Tree. I really wanted to get this red stripe in here because I just think it is just so beautiful for the Christmas season. Now what we're going to do is we are going to be gluing this ribbon onto this metal tree. And honestly, you can leave the tree as is, but I'm a crafter and I like to make things look a little bit more special. So what we're going to do is we are going to just simply glue it on with a pleated fold. I learned as I was going along with this project, the more glue that I added, and we want to make sure that we're being cautious so we don't have a bunch of glue strings everywhere, but the more glue I added, the better it added that resistance and that hold onto the metal tree. And these trees are perfect to glue ribbon onto because they already have this texture on it. so it's not going to have your ribbon come off over time, because there's nothing worse than making a craft project and then it falls apart. So we are going to just add in a whole bunch of glue, and we're going to just continue to work with our burlap ribbon. You can use any ribbon on this. They even have a beautiful green ribbon in the craft section at the Dollar Tree, or you can use white ribbon. You can use their burlap ribbon that has the lace on it. So many pretty options, but the idea is to give this tree a textured ribbon look to it. And I'm obviously going for a high-end farmhouse look on this one. So just keep adding in your glue, and you're going to see here, I'm going to just keep putting on a ton. There really is no real true method other than just keeping it looking tidy on the inside, not getting all over on the outside. And I'm not going to worry too much about the extra pleats on the outside. I'm going to come back and add hot glue in a second, but first I'm going to trim off where I need the ribbon to stop, and I'm going to go ahead and just measure to make sure I've got that all the right length to be able to pleat that into place. And now I'm going to add in some more glue. Again, a lot of glue. Go ahead and just pinch over the end, and then you're going to just pleat that all down into place, making sure everything lies nice and flat. Now, I learned the best thing to do with this particular upholstery ribbon. I'm going to hold it to make sure that the glue is really getting into the fibers. And after I had been holding it for a few moments, I decided to go get some rubber bands, because that was even better. So I just doubled up a big rubber band, put that right on, and then I actually go in and I go between all of those pleats on the outside and add some glue to hold everything in place. And then again, I'm going to add in another rubber band to make sure everything stays in place while it's drying. I really like to always give my projects time to dry before I move on, so things just don't shift and move on me. I don't like when things get out of place when I want them to stay where I need them to stay. So you can see here, I'm just kind of fluffing the ribbon, playing with it while the glue is still warm, and doesn't that look so cute already? Now that first rubber band is ready to come off, and all you do is you just take your scissors and just snip it, and it falls right off, and you have got a beautiful 2-layered tree so far. Now I'm going to add on 2 more. You can see I've got that third one on there, and now I'm going to come to the top, because it's basically just repeating itself. I just wanted to make sure I showed the top one how I come in tighter at the top so that it has a nice skinny neck at the top of the tree. And I'm going to make sure I'm tucking it down underneath the star's point so it doesn't get all caught up in that. And you can see the star beautifully, but you can also see the neck of the top of the tree. I'm going to just continue to hold that in place, put my rubber band on it, and I'm going to do some adjustments because I wanted to make sure that everything looked nice and neat and tidy at the top. And again, add more hot glue where you need hot glue, just to make sure everything holds into place. And you can see here I'm doing some adjustments, and I'm just going to shift around that rubber band to make sure everything is holding while it's drying. Now once I've got all of my hot glue dried, ribbon in place, I'm going to remove all of those rubber bands. And then I'm going to come in with a beautiful twine bow. And this is super simple to make. I just spread my fingers open, my 4 fingers, and I start wrapping the twine around multiple times. I would say I probably went around maybe like 10 times. Then I'm going to take the existing twine that's on the actual spool, and I'm going to wrap that around maybe about 5 times using the extra start piece of the twine, and I'm going to tie 2 knots. It's going to want to slip a little bit just because it's not tied. Make sure you hold down your twine bow in place right in the middle as you double knot the center of it. Then you're going to go ahead and just adjust it a little bit, trim off any of the extra that you don't need. I decided to add a doubled up tail on it, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to cut another piece of twine. I'm going to wrap it around the center twice and then do another double knot, bringing those tails down to the middle of the bow. This is the easiest bow to make, and it has such a beautiful high-end farmhouse look. Go ahead and take that and glue it to the top of your tree right underneath your star. And you can see I removed my rubber band to make sure it's all in place. I'm going to add a nice dollop of hot glue at the top, hold it in place until it is completely dry, and at this point you have yourself the most beautiful farmhouse high-end decor look for Christmas.